Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Friday, January 31st, after the Celtics 118-116 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Close game, weird game, fun game. Just a very interesting one that we're going to break down for you guys. But the Celtics got to win 2 games in a row now.
Can't believe he made the midi fadeaway. Never happens.
I like that better than the 3. I like that a lot better than the 3 fadeaway. I'll tell you that. I'm down. I'm in on that.
Well, he typically takes the shot that we're talking about Tatum, by the way, if you didn't watch the game.
Tatum hit a game.
Tatum typically takes the shot that he took today to win the game, but it just never goes in. I was like, overtime it is. And I was like, oh, nice. We're all done.
Random tangent to start the pod. I promise we'll talk about the game. What just happened is the reason why I hate editing TikToks, because I will go from me explaining what happened to you talking about something that has nothing to do with what was just said or with any context what you're saying, and then I'll have to go like 10 minutes into the podcast to find a clip of you actually talking about what the TikTok is about. like it's impossible.
That's the story, though. Like, you can't bury the lead. That is the story.
But you didn't explain the lead. You just said he made the mini fadeaway.
That was my reaction. I was like, wow, you really made it. It actually happened.
Yeah, no, good play for the Celtics down the stretch. Good game for Tatum. 27, 6, and 10. 5 turnovers were a little rough. Pretty bad third quarter, I'd say, but by and large, a very impactful all-around game for Tatum. His best game I think we've seen him play in a minute, so very good from that perspective. It's tough because he didn't make a lot of those shots last year. He's actually made a lot of the end of game shots this year. I can think of 3 off the top of my head. He obviously had the game winner against the Raptors, but this was pretty identical to the shot he made against the Pistons way earlier in the season. That was a mid-range fadeaway that he made to win the game. So I think we're far from that narrative being dead, but he has been substantially better in the clutch in terms of shot making this season. And also outside of the shot making, which Tatum was great at tonight, he shot what is it? Let's see. He shot 10 of 21 and 4-10. 10 assists. A lot of those were in the fourth quarter. A lot of those are setting up guys. A lot of those were Luke lobs or Luke rolling or Porzingis rolling on a shot that should have been a goaltend or finding Jaylen. Like good stuff from Tatum against the Pelicans.
Yeah, he really did a great job maximizing Luke, like you mentioned in the fourth quarter. Like, Luke had a stretch where I think he had 5 straight. He had a lob, and then he had an and one, back-to-back possessions. And when they're able to make Luke a threat's like the wrong word, but like they're able to set him up so easy to just do what he does best. He's so effective at it. And Tatum did a tremendous job of that. He was really good in this game. He had his moments. Like, he had 5 turnovers, but overall, like, very solid. Obviously makes the big shot. Was pretty clean with the ball in the fourth quarter. From what I remember, I don't think he did anything crazy. He mostly took smart shots down the stretch too. He got to the cup, just missed one of them. I'm trying to think of other shots that he took in the clutch. I don't know. I know Jaylen had the one in the possession before, but even then, Jayson had set him up. Like, I'm pretty sure he got an assist on that. So he was the one facilitating it. I think it's the right thing to have the ball in his hands at the start of those possessions at the very least. I just think I trust him to make the right decisions. We've seen Jaylen get blitzed in these games a little bit more, like, down the stretch, and it hasn't really worked out for the Celtics. Teams really take advantage of him and will force him to make silly plays. When you have Tatum with the ball, if you blitz him, somebody's just going to make the shot. That's what we saw in the last game against Chicago, and obviously New Orleans didn't really do it tonight.
So I pulled up StatHead to look at Tatum shots in the last 5 seconds of games to tie or take the lead this season. Right, fourth quarter OT only, obviously.
Okay.
This isn't updated for tonight, so I'm going to add one make and one just to update. He has taken the second most shots to tie or take the lead in the last 5 seconds. This is within the last 5 seconds of fourth quarter.
The NBA.
Yep, second most. The most is Tyler Hero, who's 3 of 8. Tatum is now 3 of 6 on those shots this season. That's really good.
What was the third one?
He's 3 of 6.
No, there's this one. There's the Raptors. What's the other one?
Pistons. In Detroit. Early in the
That was
season.
in the last 5 seconds?
I think so. Was it
Wow.
not?
I don't remember.
I mean, we can go look. I can go double check, but I think it was the Pistons one. Regardless, he's shooting well on those shots, and he's 1 of 2 from 3. So he's pretty good. And for context, and this is the reason I always bring this up, These are shots that have a very, very low percentage of makes. Tatum is shooting 3 of 6. Damian Lillard, 1 of 5. Donovan Mitchell, 1 of 4. Trae Young, 1 of 4. Anthony Edwards, 0 of 4. De'Aaron Fox, 0 of 4. This is not like a high percentage shot that Tatum should be shooting super efficient from. Like, it is a good thing that he is shooting this well in these shots, and he deserves a ton of credit. Also deserves a ton of credit. Jaylen Brown, big brass ball shot right before Tatum made his. Got overshadowed a little bit. Will get overshadowed a little bit, but Jaylen Brown had a great game. This dude, ever since he started weaning out a lot of these, like, it feels like Jaylen Brown is the exception to the Celtics are going to take a ton of threes this season rule now. Like, he is going to find his mid ranges. He is going to find his drives. And ever since he started focusing in on that, he's been a monster. He had 28 points and 11 of 18 shooting, 3-6 from 3. Like, he has been so like efficiently good.
Yeah, Jaylen has gotten back to the bucket getting ways that we saw from him last year. I tweeted about this because the shot he made tonight reminded me of the make he had in game 3 of the finals to ice the game in Dallas, where the Celtics were kind of reeling, like they were missing free throws in this game. They missed a fuck ton of free throws in the fourth quarter to let the Pelicans just keep hanging around. Like Kristaps was a major culprit of that. But Jaylen sinks that shot. He looked comfortable in the moment. He was in his spot. They need more and more of that from him. And like you said, Jack, like it really feels like Jaylen is getting back into his comfort zone. We heard him talk about whatever the team was asking him to do that wasn't necessarily his wheelhouse, and it was an adjustment. It was clear that it was an adjustment. He statistically hasn't been the same player this year, where he's been a little bit less efficient, hasn't been making threes at a high rate. Now you've got him playing his best basketball. And the Celtics cannot be the Celtics without Jaylen playing at a high level. That's what made them great last year. Listen, the guy won the 2 MVPs in the late playoff rounds. It's not nothing.
Yes.
Not to say like it wasn't like a split decision, like Tatum had a very big shout in the finals to win it, but the fact that it was a true debate is not what you've seen for the majority of this year. Like, you're not seeing that kind of basketball from the Celtics. Now they're starting to get back to it. They're starting to win more games. They put it up on the broadcast today. The starters have a much better net rating over the last however many games since they've last played New Orleans.
Yes.
Like, everything's starting to slip back together. I'm not going to say they're fixed just yet, but they're certainly heading in the right direction.
Yes. Also, context: Tatum 3 of 6 this season so far in those shots. Last season 0 of 6. Quite literally an infinite improvement. Anything is better than 0. But yeah, Jaylen has been great, and like you said, they need him to be at his best for them to win. Kristaps very inefficient tonight, 5 of 12, 2 of 7. However, just as big of a monster as you can possibly be in every other category of the game. He only had 5 rebounds, but 6 assists is, I think, close to a season high for him. If not, it's tied, because he said it recently. Then 3 blocks, 4 steals, and most of them were in like the first fucking 5 minutes of the game. He was a complete rim deterrent in this one. They played some on-off ball with him and Horford late in the game, I assume, because they were more comfortable with Horford switching on to Trey Murphy and others than KP, and it worked out. But KP was huge in this game when they needed him to be. Big shots in the fourth quarter at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Would have had a big shot if they called goaltend late in the fourth quarter too, with a great pass from Tatum. And then the defense in this one was insane too. So good game from
Beat me to the punch. I literally am watching the goaltend on repeat right now because I was scrolling just to see if there are any stats or anything interesting out there. And I'm just watching over and over again as Javonte puts his hand right through the basket to block this shot. And like the best thing about that sequence, well, obviously I'm gonna make misses both of them. But Ed Malloy just like being zoomed in on the cameras, and he's just clearly telling the players,
that's on us.
Nothing we can do about it. Sorry.
Did you hear? He said to Derrick White, he goes, "That's on us."
Yes, he literally does. Like he's like, my bad.
Also, did you Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thing, and I'll
I don't know how they can't review that. They can review a goaltend, like or no, they can't. Right?
Because they didn't call it. It's because they didn't call it.
All right,
you have to be able to call something to review it. It's like you can't challenge a no call in football. Do you know what I'm saying? It's silly, but it's kind of the way it is. Did you see Herb Jones's reaction to Tatum's buzzer beater?
Yeah, I saw you tweet it.
So
go ahead,
funny.
pull it up if you've got it.
Just very briefly before we keep going. This was a very entertaining reaction. I tweeted, "You know, a shot's good when this is the opposing team's reaction to the shot." It's just Herb Jones on the sideline going, "Ooh, that's nasty," and it was a great shot and it was clean. But yeah, the refs were pretty fucking bad in this game. They were really, really, really bad. There was like, I can think of 4 calls off the top of my head that were like just blatantly wrong. There was the goaltend. There was Jose Alvarado just falling down when Jaylen Brown was backing him in the post. There was Brandon Boston like awkwardly throwing his head back as Tatum got by him a little bit. And then there was the one where Trey Murphy drove on Derrick White late in the game and they called like a ghost foul because his hand like grazed him in the abdomen very briefly. It's just like very inconsistent, very weird, and it didn't matter. Like that's not why this was a close game. The Celtics were bad in some areas, and we'll talk about that too. But it was just like, what the fuck? What are we doing? They like consistently fell for Jose Alvarado being a merchant, like a flop merchant, like ridiculously so.
I'm so happy you brought this up. First and foremost, for those listening, Jack is not saying that the referees purposely screwed the Celtics over. He just said that they did a poor job at seeing through the bullshit. Now, I did see a lot of people on Twitter saying that the officials were intentionally screwing the Celtics over. I would like you to take a step back and think to yourself, do you think the NBA really wants to favor the city of New Orleans over the reigning champion Boston Celtics, one of the premier franchises in the NBA? They really want to see the Pelicans get a win over the Celtics.
Big market Pelicans.
That's what Adam Silver is sitting there dreaming about. Back to Jack's point. Undoubtedly, we are going to get something from the pressers today where probably Jaylen says, referee's bad. Now, Bobby Manning tweeted this, credit to Bobby Manning. I don't think, and I've said this before, I don't think you can say refs when you miss the amount of free throws the Celtics missed in this game in the fourth quarter. Now, a lot of the ref things that Jack said were offensive fouls that were turnovers, but still, make your free throws, please.
Free throws was a dud today for me. It was a dud.
Yes. I like when you get creative with the studs and duds.
Well, it's hard because, like, truly, I don't think there were any. I had Al Horford as a dud for a little bit. Like, I briefly put him on, like, oh, he's having a little bit of an off night. Maybe I'll choose Al. But, like, individually, I don't think there were many, like, real duds tonight. I just think there were team-wide issues. And so that's sort of what I focused on tonight because I don't think anybody, like, Pritchard didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Horford didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Maybe go with one of those two guys. But, like, I don't think either of them were, like, disparagingly bad. Like, I don't think they were like terribly hurting the Celtics. Still, before we talk about any other Celtics player, Trey fucking Murphy shot 15 of 20 and 8 of 12, 40 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And to be perfectly crystal clear, this was not the Celtics, let's leave him open and test the waters. This was, holy shit, this guy's making everything he chucks up towards the rim. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the Celtics' defensive consistency early in the game aided him along a little bit. Like, Trey Murphy was pulling from the jump, and they didn't react to it for the first, like, 2 or 3 threes he took. But then they were in his shit. They were right there. They were, like, they lost him in transition maybe once later in the game too. But, like, Derrick White was on the guy. Jaylen Brown late in the game was on the guy, and he banked a 3. Like, some of these threes he were making were like, hands up, what are you gonna do? Like, there was the Dylan Brooks game, and this was like the opposite of that. This was, what the fuck are we supposed to do about this?
This is the kind of game that I think the team kind of thinks has happened to them a bunch of times.
Yes.
And also a contingent of the fan base thinks has happened to them a bunch of times. I do have to credit the sharpest person on the internet today, Jake Eisenberg of First to the Floor, who tweeted before tip-off, 45 minutes before tip-off, Celtics fully healthy, Zion out, Celtics coming off a win, Trey Murphy is dropping 42. Sorry, fucking idiot, only 40.
Yeah, kind of not real sharp with that one, honestly.
What a
up.
Like, just on the head prediction. Nailed it. Like, unbelievable stuff.
Wait, I need to see something. Trey Murphy Oh, he only missed one free throw tonight. I thought if he had missed 2 free throws, would have been the difference. Yeah, I thought the Celtics defense wasn't as I thought it was really locked in at the very start of the game. Then it sagged off a little bit, and maybe that's part of what led in to what Trey Murphy, excuse me, being red hot. But man, some of those shots he was taking from that corner by their bench were like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was really disrespectful. He was yelling at the bench. If the Celtics had any
I would be
balls, they would have
too.
just put Springer in and said, "Go to work on him. Take him out of the game. Be the
No,
fire extinguisher."
yeah, the Celtics wanted to get Springer suspended for the season. um, Going back to Celtics, Derrick White, I thought was really good in this game. He only had 16, but 16, 4, 3, 2 steals, 5 and 9, 3 of 6. Made a big shot late in the game. I thought he was a big part of when the Celtics were able to slow down Trey Murphy. He was pressuring him really well off the ball. I even had that steal, him and Drew pressuring him at half court to help clinch this game. So I thought he did a pretty good job. And Drew was all right, not quite as good. But he had 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. And he was 2 of 5, 1 of 0 of 1. Didn't really do too much other than that. I will say, though, I'll let you talk about Drew and Derrick in a sec. That shot Drew Holiday took late in the fourth quarter was vomit worthy. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's the Seinfeld video of him yelling at the kid. "What the fuck you doing, you little piece of shit?"
That was worse than any Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, any shot I've seen this season. Like that one shot that's not going to matter in 30 seconds when we stop talking about it. I was sitting there. I literally rewinded my live feed and it was behind on the game. So I was like, how much time was on the shot? There were 16 seconds on the shot clock. What
Like
are we
Porzingis,
doing?
I think, hit him with like a really good backdoor pass. And then he was like, "Oh man, I can't let this pass go to waste. I have to put it up." And he just shot a mid-range when I don't even know if they really even needed to shoot anything. They
No,
could have like
no.
worked the clock, like they would have benefited from running down the time. And he's like, "All right, here's the ball back. Go ahead, Pelicans.
So
Show us
weird.
what you got."
So
Uh
weird.
More positive though,
No.
Derrick White tore his
DeJounte Murray
not no,
tore his
whoa,
Achilles.
Derrick White
Yeah,
did
you
not
gotta
tear his
stop.
Achilles.
DeJounte Murray tore his Achilles. Chris Haynes just tweeted out. That's bro. Remember earlier this season when Dyson Daniels was like, Pelicans are cursed? They're fucking cursed, man. Holy shit. That's awful. Oh my god. That
So
sucks.
before we get back to Derrick White, I do have to talk about this. Chris Haynes might be the most improved player of the year. He is no longer like getting his sources from Shams and Woj.
Well, okay,
He's beating these guys.
my windy
Well,
fingers about
Woj
Chris
is
Haynes.
yeah.
2 things. Woj is one, he could be taking some of those sources from Woj. He could be like poaching. 2, though, I wonder if any part of this is when he was with Bleacher Report or another organization, he had to vet stuff first. And now that he's not, he could be like, okay, I'm on me. It's all like, all this is just reflecting on me now. So I can just fucking rock. Like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it, or he's just the GOAT now because he's on fire. He's a
Most
beast this
improved.
season.
I don't know if we ever really talked about it on air, but we always, me, Jack, and Bobby Kravitsky have like a running joke about like Chris Haynes.
You have a running joke.
Literally, but I share it with you guys because
Sure.
you're like the only people in my life that would understand this.
Yes.
That Chris Haynes' sources are literally just the tweet notifications of the other big reporters. But he has proven me wrong this year.
He's on his shit.
Derrick
This year.
White back.
Yes.
I am officially declaring Derrick White back. He's figured out whatever was going on with him for a couple months. He's efficient again. He looks confident again. He's taking the kind of shots that he was taking last season and early in the season this year when he was playing his ass off. The Celtics needed this, and they needed it today. They obviously needed it. They only won by 2. His 16 points were felt. He made a big shot in this game. He made a huge corner 3. Also had an awesome moment with the Celtics fans sitting courtside.
Mm-hmm.
The guy definitely was like, check the pockets. And then Derrick did it and the guy did it. Really funny thing that happened during the game. But glad to see he's back. I really don't put much stock into anything Drew does negatively. I just think this is like he is, except for that one shot, read the room guy to a million. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care if I score. I'm just out there to try and help the team win. Like, I could take 5 shots. I could take 10 shots. It doesn't matter to me type thing. So
Yeah.
he's going to have 4 points. I really don't care. I truthfully think that we're seeing Holiday gravitate towards the Horford rest plan, which
Did you see
maybe
the
go ahead.
no, you do you say it first. I think you're gonna say the same thing.
Well, my hypothesis is that if this opens the door for them not to trade Springer, so they
That's
have like
yeah.
another body to
Yes.
to
Yes.
keep out
Did
there
you
and be
write
like,
that? I read that today. Did you
yeah, I
write that?
think I wrote that for
I
Celtics
read
blog.
it.
I might have wrote
Someone
it.
wrote that for Houdini too. Matt John wrote he could be their way to put him on the Holiday or the Horford rest plan. So it makes sense. I agree. Like I don't hate it. Like you get him in there when maybe you want to give Holiday a day off.
The box score on ESPN doesn't
Yeah.
say, but Springer positive plus minus today. Came in for the Tatum free throws at the end of the third quarter. Didn't give up any points.
Those don't count towards plus minus.
Free
'Cause he
throws don't
wasn't
count.
well, he wasn't in
Score
the game when
differential.
Tatum I think the way it works, I assume, is it's like excuse me, it's like ERA in baseball. Like you weren't there when the person was put on base, so you're not gonna get
Ah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you weren't there when he drew the foul to get to the line, so you're not gonna get credit for those points.
I see. Well, that
I
sucks.
assume. Because
Well,
it would
he
make
wasn't a
sense.
negative, which is why he was
He
put in the
wasn't
game.
a negative. He wasn't a negative. Good for Springer. I'm in. It is fun that he's just like this little last 2 seconds tool for them to use. I like it though. He's good at it. That said, Horford and Pritchard shot a combined 2 of 9 and 1 of 5. Not great. I don't think either of them was particularly amazing either. Pritchard had 4 stocks. He had 3 steals and a block in this game out of nowhere, but I thought they were both pretty whatever. That said, their bench contingents, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett were pretty good. Sam Hauser 3 of 6 in like all in the first half and then didn't touch the floor again, but he fucking knocked that shit down when Trey Murphy was popping off. He kept this honestly kind of helped keep the Celtics afloat when Trey Murphy was burying them. And then Luke Cornett had a pretty I think he was a bit rocky defensively this game, a lot of fouls, but he was on his shit on offense. So those two played pretty well.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate Sam's a fucking dumbass game because I was like, I'm done with Sam Hauser, sick of seeing him being consistent. Tatum never makes these shots at the end of the games, and like both like Hauser has a really good shooting game, especially like Jack said, like
Yes.
at a stretch of the game, like those were clutch shots, objectively clutch shots. Celtics are kind of reeling. Didn't start this game super strong, especially on defense. Trey Murphy's killing them. They come out of it unscathed because they have Hauser just kind of matching him. He just
Yes.
comes back off of injury. I think he made his first 3 and was red hot. And then of course Tatum makes the shot at the end of the game. So yes, this is the ultimate Sam is a fucking dumbass game.
When did you declare Hauser dead? Do you remember the day or the game?
I don't remember what the day was. They
It
won
was
the
on
game.
late night with First to the Floor, correct?
Yeah. It might have been the Warriors game.
Yes, it was the Warriors game.
Because everyone was like, they won by
So
40. And I was like, I'm not buying into it.
so it was January 20th, 2025. Let me see. I just want to check something real quick.
I don't know if he's even played since then.
Bear with me. Bear with me. So since January 20th, Sam Hauser is shooting. I got the totals up here. 15 of 26 from 3.
Yeah. It's literally like this game is like the picture. This is such an inside reference that like 3 people get it. It's the picture of Max from Pardon My Take, like in front of the microphone, just dumbfounded, like nothing to say. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone because I use this picture like in everyday like
Sure.
speak all the time because
Please.
he's left at a loss for words. He has absolutely nothing for him. I love this picture. It's my favorite picture. There he is. Just he's got nothing to say. Like I want to tweet this picture all the time, but nobody would get it.
No, I like it though. It's fun.
He's just like, they're like, "What do you think?" And he's just like,
Anyways, very weird game for the Celtics. Got to win, clutched out a win. I don't even think they played as bad as the score might have people thinking. Like I thought they actually played. I was actually like pretty like they played pretty well in this game. Like if Trey
Well, he gave
Murphy
up-
doesn't have a god night, you know what I'm saying? Like he literally played the best game of his entire career, or one of them, like a top whatever game of his entire career. I would love to see how many of the shots he made were what the fuck shots. But I don't know. Like, I think their defense could have been better at times with their pressure. I thought it was a bit inconsistent. I did think their shot selection at times was a bit questionable. Obviously, the Drew Holiday one. I think Tatum in the third quarter took a few of those, I don't know, shots. But like, I don't think it was that egregious to where you'd think they would be in a 2-point game with this version of the Pelicans. Like, I truly think if there was any, like you said, this is what they think they're doing with Dylan Brooks. Like, this was the, okay, what are you going to do? In my opinion, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Celtics think this happens to them every game. They're like, oh shit,
Okay.
man, what are you gonna do?
In their defense, I do think it's happened a lot this season. Like, I truly do, and I am still on board with the just play normal fucking defense, you idiots. But like, Dylan Brooks hitting that, he's literally, that is 4 more threes than he has ever hit in an NBA game ever in his life. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just like the Celtics defense this year has been the Eric Andre meme of like him shooting himself, and he's like, how can these guys keep shooting like this?
We're all trying to find the guy
who
did this. Anyways, cool. I think that's, you got anything else? Is that about it?
A couple big games coming up: Celtics Sixers, Celtics Cavs. So hopefully they can kind of they've won 2 in a row now, which almost never happens.
Woo.
What if they start
'em
stringing
go.
together wins? Don't let them get hot.
Mama, there goes that man. 1, 2. Dude, you know what's so crazy? They've lost twice in a row, 1 time this year, and it was not even during this stretch.
It just feels like they lose.
I
like,
know, because they
every
lose.
game.
They're the Hawks. They're the fucking Hawks right now.
Oh, also, by the way, like anybody that bet Pelicans plus 12 sharp
Free.
today.
Free.
Yeah.
So fucking Trey Murphy shot 8 of 12 from
it's just so funny because, like, I know I've said it. They just think this is what happens to them every game. They're like, oh shit, another guy had a career high. Oh, what are we gonna do?
Another thing, bro. I don't know why it got me so much. But fucking first half of this game, Brandon Boston shoots a shot. Eddie House, he with us. Did you hear
How about
that
Eddie House? Like
broadcast?
literally,
Did
like
you
the
hear that?
first like 2 minutes of the game, Eddie House, like Drew's like, did you like road trips? He's like, yeah, I got to get away from my ex-wife. I went on
It was
Twitter right
on
after
one.
nobody was tweeting about it. I was like, well, I'm not going to be the one, but I can't believe nobody's saying anything about this.
Brandon Boston jumped up and Ricky goes, oh yeah, he's with us for sure. And then fucking what's his name? I don't even know his name, and that's how you know. It's crazy. Carlo Matkovic took a shot, and he just goes, we want him taking all the shots.
Eddie might be better than Scal.
And then Drew Carter made a fucking Key and Peele reference, and he was like, what's that?
He's like, what is that? Yeah. I really like that Drew Carter is like our age, and he's just like
make fun references,
throwing references over these guys' heads, and they have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes, 100%. Anyways, I think that'll do it for tonight. I'm crying. I'm fucking dying. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. I was about to say go watch Late Night, but you guys are hearing this at 5 a.m, so you won't.
If you missed it, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch Late Night first of all after you listen to this. And yeah, let's say I'm taking it out.
Yeah, shout out to my man Max from Part of My Take once again. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of the Pelicans game, and subscribe. You can also hit the bell. Jack and I are here every single day with new content dropping at 5 a.m. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can also find Jack and I live here for pregame. Every single game, ton of fun for a half hour. Play GeoGuessr, talk to the chat. Jack is delirious today.
I'm just laughing at fucking Eddie House going, oh, he with us. I don't know why it made me laugh. It's just being like, yeah, that guy fucking sucks.
You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. If you are on Spotify and Apple, you don't get to see Jack laughing as he's muted, but you can find all pods and recaps there. We're posting there every single time. So follow, leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read your emails every single recording. We're going to be recording this afternoon as you hear this, so get them in. Tell us what you thought of the last week. hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter and TikTok at JackSmartNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.